asking, how did nobody know? Well, I found someone who says that's not entirely true.
The majority of our livestock is kept in better conditions than these children. That's Vinton County Sheriff Ryan Kane speaking to reporters on July 1st, 2026, after his deputies broke down the door of a small beige house on Ohmer Street in Hamden, Ohio. Inside, they found 16 children, ages 20 months to 18 years, who had allegedly been confined to a single 12 by 12-foot room for most of the past 4 years. Human waste covered the floors. Insects covered the children. And when the officers looked into their eyes, they saw something that would keep them up at night: nothing. The children did not speak. They did not cry. They did not run. They had been taught to disappear so completely that even their own neighbors, people who passed that house every single day, had no idea they existed. Before we go deeper into what the documents actually show, make sure you're subscribed to Endless Cryme, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence. Picture this.
Saw the ciders and who you saw. We'll just kind of take it step by step.
So, like I said, I started working at the dollar store for about 2 years ago. When I first saw them was my first day, and Elizabeth and Gary Jr., and it was in the evening at night, around 9:45. It's always close to closing. They would come in there and buy these two main items were always there. It was a jug of water and oil, but it wasn't like the big thing of oil. It was like a little oil, decent size oil, the little kind. And occasionally there'll be sugar, other items, and once in a blue moon, not all the time, it would be diapers. But I didn't think anything of it. The reason why, when I first saw them, a couple of employees did help, like buy hygiene and stuff, which out of our own pocket, of course, help them with the hygiene, help them with bags of clothes, because this is a poor community. So, we want to help. I don't have no reason to judge them if they're struggling. Here's what I can do to help. Here's what we can do to help. But once we started to notice that the items weren't being used at all, that's when we kind of took a step back and was like, okay, well.
2-minute car ride from that house, past 5 or 6 blocks of quiet rural road, sits a Dollar General store. Every night around 9:45, just before closing, a young woman would walk in with her husband. She was pale, thin, hollow-eyed, pregnant. He guided her by.
Elizabeth wasn't really allowed to talk to anybody in the store when Gary would walk her around. He would give her 3 or 4 kisses, and the only person she'll talk to would be me. He'll give her 3 or 4 kisses and walk out the store, and she'll come to the register. And he did the same thing, except he walked outside and the kids would stay in the store. And like I said, she'll ask them, what would you like? And they'll get it, and they proceed to check out.
So Elizabeth wasn't allowed to talk?
To me, it seemed that way. Like, I never saw her spoke to anybody but besides the person behind the register, which is either me or one of my coworkers.
And what do you mean he gave her 3 or 4 kisses? Is that what you said?
Yes. So every time before she came to the register, when they were done shopping, he would give her like 3 or 4 kisses on the lips. And then he'll walk out and she'll come to the register.
The elbow through the aisles, never letting go. They would buy a jug of water and a bottle of vegetable oil, sometimes sugar, rarely diapers, never food. Night after night, the same items, the same ritual. Then the husband would kiss her 3 or 4 times on the lips and walk out the door, leaving her to pay. She would whisper, barely audible, soft as a ghost, and then she would leave too. That cashier, Ariel Gutierrez, a mother of 6 herself, watched this happen for nearly 2 years. She saw Elizabeth Siders pregnant. She saw Elizabeth Siders after the pregnancy. She never saw the baby. She saw 4 children.
Like I said earlier, I did see the kids twice in 2 years, and they came into the store, and when I saw them, they mimicked their mother. So they looked pale. They were very thin. They had their hair over their head. And I honestly, personally thought they were visiting, my personal opinion, because I never saw them with kids. So when I saw them twice, I didn't know they had 16 kids, period. I thought she had 5 because of the 4 I saw, and then when she was pregnant, which I never saw the baby at all after the pregnancy. So I thought they were visiting. They came over because when they went into the store, she would ask them, what would you like to buy? Or what would you like? They would point. She said, go ahead and go get it. And then they would get soda, chips, or whatever they got and checked it out. Now, did they eat it? I don't know. Did they consume it? I don't.
Come into the store twice in all that time. They never looked up. Their hair hung over their faces like curtains. They pointed at what they wanted, chips, soda, and their mother told them to go get it. They never spoke. They were pale thin, just like their mother. And then they vanished back into the night. Ariel thought they were visiting. She didn't know they were living there. She didn't know there were 16 of them. The official narrative says no one knew. These folks were pretty good at hiding these kids. Ohio Attorney General Andy Wilson told the press. Neighbors said they saw no children. No school records existed for any of them. The family had moved across Ohio for 2 decades, leaving almost no paper trail, no medical records, no government filings, nothing. The warrant that finally brought deputies to that door on June 30 wasn't even for child endangerment. It was for public indecency. Gary Siders Jr. had allegedly exposed himself outside the home on 4 separate occasions in May. That's what got the police there. Not the children, not the smell, not the years of silence. A man flashing his neighbors. They were right there. The children were right there, and the system designed to protect them never saw them because it was never looking. But here's where the official story cracks. Ariel Gutierrez saw them. She saw the children. She saw the mother. She saw the control. She watched Gary Ginder guide Elizabeth by the elbow, kiss her, leave her, control every interaction. She watched Elizabeth.
Items.
And when you saw Elizabeth, when she looked at you, describe to me what you saw in those eyes. What did you see?
There was nothing there. There was nothing. You could tell it was a body. That was it. Like you could tell like she wanted the help, but I don't think she knew how to ask for the help, nor did I ask the right questions for her. I did ask her, how are you doing? And she'll, good, I got to pay for this. But she spoke very, very, very soft. All the time.
Eyes and saw nothing there, just a body. She watched the children mimic their mother. The same pallor, the same silence, the same hair covering.
That you were seeing that was raising red flags with I guess you only saw 4 or 5 of the 16 kids.
The only red flag now that I see, and I was like, okay, Ariel, you probably should have said something, was how thin and how very pale they were. Other than them being shy and not wanting to talk to anybody and blocking out the world with their hair. Other than that, no. They were very thin, just like their mom. Very pale, just like their mom. She didn't look like she carried 16 kids.
When you say hair, do you mean like they were literally covering up their face?
Yeah. Cover their face with their hair. Like with the teenagers, you could tell like, They had hair and they would have it covered. I never saw them.
Their faces like a shield. She watched them come in night after night, buying the same items, never varying, never speaking. And she asked herself the same question that haunts this entire case. What were they doing with all that oil? Vegetable oil purchased in bulk every single night for years. In countries where starvation is a daily reality, vegetable oil is used as a desperate caloric supplement, a way to keep bodies alive without providing actual nutrition. The children weren't being fed. They were being sustained. Just barely. 1 child was intubated. 2 were flown to trauma centers. 7 were hospitalized. The 18-year-old couldn't spell their own name. They were right there. The family's history makes
related. Like, I didn't think they were together because the older couple, when I did see them, and it wasn't all the time, it was a handful of times, they were...
The silence even louder. Elizabeth Siders was 15 when she married Gary Jr., who was 18. They married in West Virginia, where the law allowed children to marry with parental and judicial consent. Her education stopped at 8th grade. His stopped at 9th. Their first child was born 2 months after the wedding. Over the years, Elizabeth allegedly gave birth to 20 children. Twin daughters, Bailey Lee and Faith Lee, were born and died on the same day in 2022. Conjoined twins delivered at 24 weeks. The children who survived were never enrolled in school, never seen by doctors, never counted by the state. They existed outside every system designed to find them. And yet, they were right there. Sheriff Kane said the children can communicate, but it's extremely limited, and some not at all. Ohio Attorney General Wilson said they looked like almost feral animals. But feral animals don't hide their faces. Feral animals don't learn to be invisible. These children had been conditioned, deliberately, systematically, to disappear, to not be seen, to not be heard, to not exist. And the people who passed that house every day, who shopped at that Dollar General, who live within 5 blocks of that 12 by 12-foot room, didn't see them either. Ariel Gutierrez saw them. She saw the red flags. She saw the thinness, the paleness, the silence, the control. She saw the oil, the water, the ritual. She saw Elizabeth's empty eyes and the children's hidden faces. And she didn't ask the right questions. I guess I could have asked the right questions, she said. I could have done something. They were right there. In July 2026, a state legislative panel approved $1 million in additional funding to assist the 16 children, all 4 adults. Elizabeth Siders, 33, Gary Siders Jr., 36, Gary Siders Stern, 73, and Christina Siders, 67, have been charged with 16 counts each of second-degree felony child endangerment. They have pleaded not guilty. Bail was set at $300,000 apiece. Gary Stern was hospitalized after a fall in prison. A gag order now restricts access to court filings and evidence. The case is heading to a grand jury with a special prosecutor appointed. Elizabeth's attorney has described her as crying and exhausted, focused only on her children, signaling a possible mental health defense. But here's the question that lingers, that turns this from a tragedy into a thriller. If the system failed these children so completely that 16 human beings could vanish in plain sight for 4 years, how many more are out there right now, in houses just like that one, invisible to everyone who passes by? They were right there. Go read the Vinton County Sheriff's Office press release from July 4th, 2026. It's a public record. Read what Sheriff Kane actually said about the conditions. Read what Attorney General Wilson described. And then ask yourself this: in a town of fewer than 1,000 people, where everyone knows everyone, how does 16 children disappear? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you've made it this far, hit like, share this video, subscribe to Endless Cryme, and turn on notifications. Because we're not done with this story. Not even close.